Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. And thanks so much for joining me. This is going to be the refresh of the July energy. And so it's going to be a general energy for the rest of July. We're going to focus on the soulmate piece more specifically tomorrow, but you'll notice a lot of times the messages are pretty interwoven because anything that's happening in your life could come out here. So we could see some soulmate messages too. Of course, like I said, it's a general reading. And as always, it's not going to resonate for everybody because really it shouldn't. This is for this collective. And so if it does resonate with you, as I'm fond of saying, maybe take a look at some of the other readings that are the other messages that have come out. See if maybe there's something else that might be there for you as well. And then, of course, think about subscribing. So we're going to jump in by taking a look at just kind of the general energetic backdrop. And a lot of times we look at that for a specific day or kind of just this time frame. We're looking at the time frame of the back half of July here. And it's just kind of that energetic backdrop. What looks like that's not it. What looks like it's coming your direction for the second half of July, just in general, energy that you're going to be swimming in. And so this is focused on you, not necessarily the folks around you, but it could be impacted very much by some of the same things that that will impact that impact everybody. So for example, we've got a Venus retrograde coming. Starts during July. So it starts July 23rd. I think it goes for like 42 days. So it's not going to end until the beginning of September. And this one's interesting because with all of the energies that are out there, it's going to be kind of about resolving what's in your past rather than starting new resolutions. So you can also start something new during this time, but there's a lot about resolving what's in your past. So it's kind of this, I want to call it a period of reclamation and reconciliation. But that's going to be, so that's, like I said, the Venus retrograde, and that won't start yet until July 23rd, but then it's going to go long enough that we will see the impacts of that for a while. So that's something that everyone would be swimming in, but we're looking at it as it relates to you. Here we have the Seven of Swords in the upright, the way that I typically don't like to see it because it's about deception. It's about mistrust. It's not entirely about that. So what we're seeing here is this is more of an admonition to be careful because there are things that you may not be trusting yourself about, but you probably should be. So things that you're seeing that you may not be, I don't want to say you're not taking them as seriously, but you may not quite be trusting that they're real. And it's like, no, you need to trust yourself on this. So this is that feeling. It may be difficult to trust yourself. It's about very important things. This is the 10 of Hedgehogs. It's earth energy. It's like the 10 of Pentacles. This is your household. This is the environment that you live in. So your focus is going to be on that during this time. And here we have the 4 of Spears talking about not getting as much of that healing and rest and rejuvenation kind of energy as you might like. I'm not going to say you aren't getting any of it. What I will say is that you may not be getting as much of it. It's like not getting enough sleep. So you may be sitting down to meditate for, 15 minutes every day, and then that's all the time you've got. But every time you get to that 15-minute mark, you think, wow, I really need like 5 more minutes. So, I mean, it really does have that sense that you're doing what you should be doing, but you just don't, there's not enough time in the day for you to really execute on what you want. King of Hedgehogs, and I'm just going to pick up the ones that want to go in the order that they want to go in. So if it looks a little confusing, that's what I'm doing. The King of Hedgehogs, again with that earth energy, in the reverse, there's a sense that there's something here that you don't feel like you quite deserve. You don't feel like you quite deserve it, and yet it's like it's your birthright. Okay, and with the 2 of Flowers, this is how you have to, you are going to come to a crossroads where you need to make a decision, and you need to be able to say, I do trust myself. I do believe what I'm seeing, even though I feel like I haven't quite had enough rest and rejuvenation. I'm going to just go. I'm just going to do it. This is like got that fool sort of energy to it. So my question is, are you going to be able to do it? Because we've got this Two of Flowers that's saying here, you're at that crossroads. This is where you make the decision whether you're going to do it or not. But with the Judgment card here and the Suspension card, and both of them being in the reverse, it could be a little bit tough for you to move forward and to do the things that you want to do. There's a little bit of looking back and not being pleased with what you see and saying, hold on, I think I got a couple of redos here. I think I've got some things that maybe I need to continue to work on. Definitely still working on gathering a perspective to yourself. And actually, we just saw this in the extended for yesterday's reading. So it has the exact same feeling. So if you haven't seen that one, if you're on the soulmate journey, this one might be, it's relevant, but it's also, this is something that you are in the process of figuring out but haven't quite gotten there. Similarly, this is something that you haven't quite, this is the Transformation card. It's the equivalent of the Death card in the traditional tarot. It's in the reverse, not because you're so resistant, because a lot of times we see it in the reverse to denote resistance. It's less about resistance. It's more about you just haven't gotten there yet. These two cards are echoing one another. It's very much you haven't gotten there yet. You've got something that you're in the process of working out. You're reflecting on it. It's not quite there yet. This is not an unhappy story, but again, it's not necessarily a super comfortable one either. So story of the month of July. Boy, it does seem like there's a lot that happens here though. A lot of, okay, it's finally time. It's finally go time. There's some things that actually have already started to happen, honestly, for many of you. So this is, as we talk about the month for the month of the second half of the month, this is the energy of that. This doesn't mean that whatever this is has not yet been initiated. So it's not like, oh gosh, I got another thing. It's not necessarily that. I mean, you could, but really, I am not necessarily seeing that it's got to come in the second half of July. Could be a little bit delayed into the beginning of August. Could have already started. Everybody's on a different timeline, but you get the basic idea. There is a sense of, okay, I got to move, but I don't have all the development done in order to do so cleanly or easily. So let's see what else you need to know for the month of July. What else do you need to know? And that's real. Okay. We've got the Six of Wands. Okay, you're moving toward a beautiful, beautiful place. It's like pick the most sunny, beautiful nostalgia that you can come up with. You are heading toward reclaiming that in some way, and you're going to know it when it happens. Huh. You guys, that is, so a lot of these messages are completely channeled and the words just come out and then I go, okay, I'm going to go, I can work with that. You know, those words came out and I was as surprised. I'm not always surprised to hear them as I was for that. Not that I'm surprised you're going to be successful, just that it was so clear. That's very positive. There's a lot of strength here. So this happens this month. You figure out this month that you are headed in a very positive direction. So if you've been feeling kind of all is lost about things, just know you've got something coming to you that is what you deserve. And it's a good thing. It's something that, you know, you have been willing to give, but you've not been receiving in return for that. Here's where the receiving begins. This is a really warm, wonderful feeling. It does constitute the end of a cycle. And it constitutes the end of a cycle, probably because you make a realization. There's a sense of a realization in here. Something all of a sudden happens for you and you go, oh, hold on. This is different from what I expected. Or I do deserve this. Or, oh, I dropped one. And it's face up and we want it. This is the Page of Teacups. So a new perspective coming to you, which we see that here in this energy that you're kind of feeling like you want to land on your feet, but it's not, you're still kind of falling. You're still not quite there yet. So we've got a Page of Teacups. This is about taking it's a little bit of a leap of faith, not quite the Minor Arcana Fool. That would be the Page of, what would that be? And it would be Page of Spears in this deck because it's air energy, but it's not so much the Minor Arcana Fool. It's just a willingness, like a sunshine comes out and you just feel rejuvenated. And so this feeling like you're not getting rejuvenated quickly enough, it looks like it still very much happens. You've still got very positive things heading your direction. And it's like you're going to be conscious of that when they get there. No, those aren't part of this. It has to do with... healing that you've been in the midst of, but didn't maybe realize you were closing in on, or closing in on a next step. Because I won't say, oh, you're completely done healing from this sense of, and I feel like it is that rejection and abandonment that so many of you are struggling with. The sense of betrayal, rejection, abandonment. Got more cards that fell face down. But I feel like you're making some progress with that here in this energy that is pretty significant and not to be ignored. What have we got? Teacups. All right. 5 of Teacups in the reverse. Yes, that's what I like to see. And I like to see this too. This is the Temptation card in the reverse. It's like the Devil card. Okay, so with the 6 of Teacups in reverse, or I'm sorry, the 7 of Teacups in reverse. This is really, this is so weird to describe because I don't usually want to see the 7 of Teacups in, it doesn't usually mean, it means, or I'm sorry, I keep saying 7 and it is the 6. So the 6 of Teacups in reverse is about you being able to get out from under, it's a 6 of Cups is a nostalgic feeling. Okay. The 6 of Cups in reverse is sometimes it's trying not to think about it. Sometimes it's, wanting to get away from a memory or knowing that a memory is connected to you. This is not that. This is nothing so harsh. This is, I am now no longer tortured by it because, with it coming out with the Temptation card here, like I said, that's like the Devil card here in reverse. And it is quite significant because basically this is you getting out from under the control of something that has honestly plagued you for some time. Something that's been bothering you for a while, but I don't get the sense that it's going to be bothering you anymore going forward. It's something that once you see it, you can't unsee it, but you're going to be really glad that you saw it. All right, we have the 10 of Flowers. Okay, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, let me explain. So the 10 of Flowers, flowers are like wands energy. They are fire. So with the 10 of Wands in reverse, one of the messages that we just keep getting is there are things that are your responsibility that you're taking on and carrying as if they are your responsibility, but they are really not. And so it's a matter of figuring out exactly where those things are and setting them down. So as opposed to this being that sense of burnout, now I'm falling because I couldn't figure out how to set this stuff down, you're actually setting something down. You're setting something down, and maybe it's a little bit difficult to say, yes, it's time for me to set this responsibility down, but it's the right thing to do, and it ends up feeling exactly right. From the very bottom of your heart and with every fiber of your being that this is the right thing to do, and you're walking away from some kind of thing that you previously kind of treated like an emotional responsibility. Okay, and now we have the 6 of Spears. So this is, it goes nicely with this. This is that moment of truth where you realize, I don't need to hold on to this. I'm going to go forward. You're not completely healed. You don't have everything done. You don't have all of your ducks in a row. Your transformation, your transformation is not yet complete. But with this energy, you're able to make some nice movement forward despite anything else that's happening in your life. So even if you are real busy at work, got a lot going on in your love life, a lot happening with your family, a lot happening everywhere else, you are still able to make some progress during the back half of July on everything that you're shooting for making, but mostly what's sticking up the most and what is the most important, the things that are getting in the way, interfering with your happiness the most. Okay. I'll take it. I think that's pretty fantastic. I know we're done pulling cards for that, and this is shaping up to not be a long reading, but it's fantastic news. I will take a short reading if it comes out, and some of you don't have that much time to listen anyway, but I will take a short reading if it comes out to be quick, concise messages, and especially messages that are this good. This is a definite feeling of resolution and something positive happening. So let's look for that advice for you. This is what you needed to know about it. This is kind of the energy of it. What do you need to know? What do you need to be doing? Or what do you What is your advice for the second half of January? Huh, July. That's an interesting mistake to make, but not one that, oh, we do want this. Not one that I'm new to. So we've got the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Four of Wands in the upright. Four of Wands in the upright is actually talking about a happy new beginning. There is, and we kind of have seen something very positive coming your direction. So we've got a happy new beginning coming your way and you getting triggered by it, which we have seen this over and over. This came in the form of a new friend, a new soulmate, somebody that could turn romantic, doesn't necessarily happen quickly, partially because you get triggered. So there is the sense that you get triggered, aren't exactly sure what to do with this, but I don't get the sense that it's like hopeless. When you get triggered, that you say, well, that's that. I've now ruined all possibilities with this situation. It isn't so much that, but you experience a little bit of an emotional setback and you end up saying, okay, you know what? I've learned some things. I keep getting that sense that you're getting the tables turned on you a little bit. So you're going to feel something that you felt pointed your direction before. But there's something here, and I feel like it has a lot to do with whoever's coming into your life. And we've seen it. If you're in this collective, then you've been getting these messages. You've been getting messages from me anyway about a new soulmate that's coming in. And again, not saying what the nature of that person is, but it's somebody that is making their way your direction. It is possible that it is somebody that you have known in the past, but I would say it is somebody that you're not currently in a lot of communication with, and maybe not even in a bad way. But I think for most of you, it's going to be somebody new anyway. Okay, so we have the Nine of Hedgehogs, which is actually a really just like wholesome, comfortable feeling. This is you feeling like you have things under control and that you don't need to stress about anything. That's pretty fabulous. And with a happy new beginning, that's not always something that happens. We've got this King of Flowers, though, and this is about ego. This one's about ego, and so watch out for a tendency or a desire to want to just really kind of want to make things a certain way or want to be seen a certain way. This is a desire to control the narrative. And here with the Four of Hedgehogs, Four of Hedgehogs is a need to get rid of something or need to let go of something, honestly. So there's something that you'll need to let go of, and there's something that you're going to want to, it's egoistic. You're going to want to let go of something egoistic that is making you want to look a certain way. And I feel like you've been in contact with someone in the past, and maybe it's even that soulmate that a lot of you have been trying to work past and work through, where they wanted to look a certain way. And so they did things in the relationship that didn't necessarily jive with the overall feel of the relationship. And I get the sense that you may be tempted to do that with this new thing that's coming in. And that's a little bit of that feeling of the tables turning. You're gonna get triggered, but you're also gonna feel like there are some things here that look really familiar. Okay, so the King of Spears in reverse tells me there's an opportunity to back up and look at this and come up with more of a strategy, but that you're not going to be inclined to do that. You're going to be more inclined to just kind of move through it, looking forward, but not considering what's off to the sides so much. This is running the risk of blindsiding you. Running the risk of blindsiding you, and you need to know what it is that you want. So this is the One of Teacups in the upright and the Nine of Teacups in the reverse. One of Teacups in the upright is all about an extreme amount of love coming your way. Nine of Teacups in reverse it's kind of got the same warning as that Ten of Cups. Are you going to recognize it for what it is? How long is it going to take you to recognize it for what it is? And, you know, what kind of, you're going to find yourself in a position where, like many of you have, as the Divine Feminine in a relationship, found yourself where you've got somebody over there saying, oh gosh, I've made such a mess that it's going to be hard for me to come back. I'm basically going to have to come back full of apologies. I'm not saying you're going to get to that point, but you are going to get to a place where you say, you know what? I understand why that person felt so uncomfortable now. So the Hierophant coming out in the reverse. When you have good advice coming your direction, regardless of where it comes from, definitely consider taking it. The Hierophant in the reverse suggests that you may be resistant to doing so. Five of Flowers in reverse, again with the fire energy. This is really about going with the flow and making that kind of the way that you intentionally go. You are intentionally wanting to go with the flow, and to just kind of let things happen. It's like you're going to be outside of the situation, kind of looking at it, observing it, making sure that you understand what's happening with it. And you're encouraged to do that. Again, no sense of feeling like you need to rush. We saw that in yesterday's reading a couple of times. There was no need to rush. And the question was more about what are you going to do from a soulmate perspective, with your person having been ignoring you. What do you do to move forward? And the answer was, well, you don't have to do anything very quickly. There's still that feeling here, and there's a safe space here. With this new soulmate coming in, even though it may feel like you still have to get it together. Yeah, you do have to get it together, but it's a safe space for you to do that. So let's get you an oracle card. And again, we're looking at what's headed your direction in July. Oh, let's see. We got one. Miracles. Miracles. Okay. We just want the one card. I saw the relaxation card too. Felt a little bit like an honorable mention given the energy here, but feeling like there's not enough relaxation, right? So the miracles, though, things are going to happen here that you may or may not be able to expect. You may not be able to anticipate. So you're encouraged not to anticipate or expect anything in particular. So like that mantra that I did the mantras for you guys. I did a video about my mantras, and you can find it in the bonus videos along with all the thank you videos. And there's one about meditation and neat stuff in there. But I did one about mantras, and the very first mantra that I open up with on a daily basis, and interestingly, that is not, I opened up with gratitude this morning. I did not open up with the one that I usually do. The one that I usually open up with is about releasing expectations, assumptions, and any sort of attachment to people, situations, and the outcomes of those situations. And one of the reasons is because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to limit what's possible. Miracles is really all about not limiting what's possible. So, this is the outlook for the rest of July. It's incredibly positive, not necessarily super comfortable in all its aspects, but it all comes out fine. I feel really good about this energy for everyone in this collective in July. Tomorrow, like I said, we'll jump in and look at soulmates specifically, and I look forward to seeing you then.